Hey, Pro Organizers, it's Melissa. I'm thrilled that we were able to get this podcast together because there are four of us. It's myself and my three organizing besties from here in Minnesota. And we got this idea. We have a group text string, and we were talking about something pertaining to organizing, as we do quite a bit. And somebody said, "Oh, this is a podcast." And I'm like, "Yeah, do you want to come on the podcast and talk about it?" And then I go, does everybody want to come on the podcast and talk about it? And I probably should have thought of this sooner, but I didn't. And probably because I thought that we would be able to schedule this at the earliest in 2031 if we were lucky. But no, we lucked into a day where all four of us were available at the same time. And that is bringing you this magic. We talked for a really long time. I'm not even going to tell you how long. I'm going to break it up into several podcasts because we talked about a billion trillion things that I think you guys are going to find interesting. But absolutely so happy that it came together. So excited for you to meet my organizing besties from here around me and to hear what they have to say. So the three of them are all very successful entrepreneurs, team leaders. They each have very sizable teams that they go out to projects. And I just think they are going to have so much wisdom for you to hear about what they're doing and how they're thinking about their business. And I hope it's inspiring for you. All right, I'm going to give you a ton of podcast content in the next week. Whether you want it or not, you're going to get it. So I will look forward to talking to you soon. Here are my friends, Missy, Cori, and Kielyn. I'm so excited to have you guys on my screen. So I want to start out by saying these ladies are my actual, in real life, really good friends. We became friends because we were organizers and we all got together. Missy and I started, and then we just have made it into this group of the four of us. But it's one of my favorite things in the entire world. And I tell people all the time, you have to get a community. And this is my community. These are my people. You've got to get people that understand where you're coming from and what you have going on and all the things. If you listen to nothing else in this podcast, just go find some people in the organizing world. And if you reach out to a couple people and they aren't the right people, go find more people. Don't let it discourage you because you guys are my people. Kielyn runs Organize Minnesota. If you guys don't know about Minnesota, there is a saying that we are Minnesota nice, which, by the way, can also mean we're Minnesota passive aggressive, but we're nice to your face.
Good.
So Kielyn runs an organizing business called Organize, which I love. And she has a team. I'm actually the only one in this group that is solo by choice. Everybody has a team. And Kielyn is the mom to a delightful daughter and a three-legged dog. Is there
This is
anything
true.
else that is really key about your life that you would like to tell people about?
I can't think of anything. I might think of something later as I hear what other people say.
Yeah, no problem.
Mhm.
And Missy, who is currently wearing a sweatshirt that I thought was a Gap sweatshirt because the Gap is back, you guys. If you did not know it, the Gap is back. So I saw it and I go, oh, that's the like real trendy Gap sweatshirt. But no, her sweatshirt says nap. And Missy, there are a lot of things that I love about Missy. We've been friends for a long time, but her commitment to sleep, especially naps, is unparalleled. And I'm here for it, you guys. I really am. So the fact that you're even wearing a sweatshirt that explains your love, it's great. She runs Clear Spaces Organizing, and she lives very far away from the rest of us physically, but
Yes.
mentally, she's always close by. Missy has a team of organizers, and I will let her decide how much she wants to talk about, but I can tell you Missy had an absolutely bang up 2025, and I want her to talk like a little bit about it because I think she does some things that are unique and fun. And so, Missy, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
So, I should say, Kielyn has been on the podcast before. We were talking about why we can't relax. It was a great
Mhm.
podcast. Missy has been on the podcast several times talking about ADHD and all sorts of other things. And then my last guest is my friend Cori. And here's what I want you to know about Cori. Cori and I share a mutual love of the podcast New Heights, which some of you may know about and some of you may not. Two of my guests on this podcast right now do not know anything about New Heights, but it's a podcast with Jason and Travis Kelsey. Travis Kelsey, of course, also Mr. Taylor Swift.
That
And
is my only knowledge of this
there you go. See,
podcast.
that's all you need to know. It's
Mhm.
Taylor Swift's boyfriend is on this podcast. And so in this podcast, like Cori and I talk all the time. They have this segment. Cori, go ahead and do it.
All right. New
Anyway,
It's amazing. And we're going to hit you up with new organizing news. Why
yes.
not? We've been
New?
waiting so long to say that on a podcast.
Yes. So we're going to talk about new organizing news, but the other part of that podcast that Cori and I really love is how they introduce guests. And so Cori was like, "Will you introduce me?" Jason introduces his guest. And so I am not going to scream into it, but I do want to say she is a 5'5" professional organizer from Prior Lake, Minnesota. She was an Olympic hopeful in weightlifting, so she can kick all of your asses. She's a mom of 2. She is leader to a huge team of people. Cori McDougall and meat and potatoes. Maybe wasn't as good as Jason.
total hype.
I loved it.
It's amazing.
Fun.
Also,
so
you guys, seriously, Cori did almost go to the Olympics, and she could absolutely kick all of your asses.
This is true.
That's
Mhm.
all. That's all.
It's been, feels like a lifetime ago, but
Yeah.
yes, here we are. Number
Here
one
we are.
professional organizer, number 2 job lumberjack.
That's right. Before we hit record, well, actually, we were recording, so I actually may put this into like outtakes, but she was like, "My second job is I'm a lumberjack. I'm chopping wood nonstop." I just want to start out by saying, I think one of the things, and I don't know if you guys agree with this or not, but this is how I see it. I think one of the reasons that we get along so well, the 4 of us, is because we're basically atypical organizers. I think we're like I know Missi and I are very type B. Like, it'll all work out. It'll be fine. I'll invoice someone 6 weeks after I actually did work for them, but it'll be fine. Do you get Kielyn and Cori, would you describe yourselves that way, or how would you describe yourself?
I think I'm pretty type A, but
Okay.
I think I respect the different way of looking at it. So I feel like it's refreshing to hear how other people do it. But I think we also don't take ourselves too seriously. And I think that is like nothing is that critical. We know that organizing isn't an emergency, everything's fine, and we'll figure it out.
I'm going to call you A minus though, because, and I mean that in the nicest way,
Yeah.
because I do think that because you have that ability to see all of that, I think that helps you like be a little bit more measured in your business. That's at least how I see it. Cori, how would you describe yourself?
So here's the problem. All my life, I can't listen to anybody else. This is why I have to run my own company. Okay.
You don't want a boss?
I don't want a boss because I'm seek and destroy almost all the time. So you tell me to do something, I'm going to do the opposite. Or at least I'm going to try and I'm going to fail and I'm going to figure it out.
Okay.
So I don't feel type A in the fact that like I'm following rules and I'm a perfectionist, but I do like to be very efficient and get things done. But I typically to do the opposite before that ever happens.
Okay.
If
I
that
love
makes
that.
any sense.
Yeah. Missi.
May I talk about the time that I went to Cori's office and walked in and I was like, "Where's all your stuff?" And she's like, "Look,
Okay.
right there." And she points to an empty inbox. And I was like,
Okay.
What's that? I can't even comprehend this. So to me, you are like the most type A because you actually have a schedule and a plan and you follow it. But that could be because I am literally flying by the seat of my pants and I have 6 of those boxes full right now in my office.
If you're watching this on YouTube, this is my mail pile, and then there's a hair tie at the front of it. By the way, 99% of this is junk. Keelan's crying right now. It's 99% of it is absolute junk mail. I just haven't dealt with it yet.
You are our clients, my friend. You are our
Yes.
clients.
We
Yes.
came by this very honestly of we are living in a pit and need to figure our own way out. And then once we did that, we were like, oh, we can help other people that are feeling that way too.
Right.
Yes, absolutely. What is it that drives you, Cori, to like when you wake up every day? What is it that drives you?
Missi and I were talking about this the other day, actually. So one thing I think, if you've been in professional organizing for a long time, bear with me. Maybe some of you love it every day, and that's great. But if you're like feeling a little burnt out or you've just been doing this a long time, you have to figure out where's the excitement for you. Because if it's there, if nothing is exciting about it, it's not going to be very fun because it's a hard job. Like it's not emergency surgery, but it's a hard job. So what excites you? And I really had to ask myself that. And so over the last couple of years, I get really excited. The thrill of the chase of the professional athlete. Okay.
Yeah.
I love that. To me, I love to network with them. I love to connect. I love to talk. I like to figure out their families moving in, they're getting traded. How can we pack them? How can we unpack them? Should we organize them? What does the timeline look like? For me, I thrive on that. I just find that very exciting. That's why I have all their jerseys up. That's what makes me excited every day to come to work. Are 90% of my clients not professional athletes? Yes.
Yeah.
So I like to get excited for the 10% and it makes the rest of it go by.
I once accidentally give you a professional athlete because I didn't know who it was who
one
contacted
behind
me.
me.
I sure did.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And that
One
was
of my favorite
it was
stories.
such a thrill. And even Melissa and I are texting back and forth, like, you will never believe this. And then Melissa's daughter's like, how dare you do that, Cori? Like, you're so mom.
He was so mad at me. Tim was mad at me. Everyone was mad at me. I'm like, guess who I gave up today in my organizing business? They're like,
I know. So I think you have to really dig deep and figure out what excites you because otherwise it's really hard to show up and be the best person you can be every day if there's nothing exciting about it. And not that everything has to be exciting because life is life, but I think it helps. And one thing I did with that, I will just say here, we're going to go woo for a second, but Missi and Kielyn, we talk a lot about manifestation. So 4 or 5 years ago, I started every day journaling and manifesting. So like meditating and then manifesting what I wanted. And I manifested, I want to work with professional athletes. Like I want to do this in my personal life, this in my professional life. I want to feel this way. And literally every morning I've stuck with it, even if it's 2 minutes. Sit down, quiet, write it out, and you speak it into existence. And I'm telling you, it's unstoppable. It's an unstoppable force. And no one's using that. No, not enough people are doing that. It's life-changing, not just in business, but like in every aspect of my life. And so I think we were talking about mindset in the text thread of getting excited. So that's the other thing. I would love to hear what you guys are excited about because I know what excites me, but I would love to hear what other professional organizers are excited about and like what you guys do too.
We're going to get to that in 2 seconds, but I do want to talk about something because I am not really a woo person. So when you talk about manifesting, like if you are not a woo person and you roll your eyes at that, what I will tell you is what you're describing is you are writing things down.
Yes.
And you are saying, so you are reminding your brain, I am working on this and this is what is important to me. And when your brain goes all in on this is what's important to me, it's not about necessarily like the speaking it into existence. It's about I am going to remind myself every day that this is why I'm doing this and this is how we're going to get there and all of that.
And it shows you how to take action. If this is what I'm writing down, what's important to me, I can see, okay, how am I going to get these clients? Okay, what's the next action step I need to take? Have I optimized everything? Am I reaching out to people I should be reaching out to? How do I get connected? Is there research I need to do? Maybe I need to spend an hour doing research to figure that stuff out. It gives you direction. And your priorities matter more than anything on your organizing team because without you, nothing is going to happen. Or if you're a solo organizer, like if you can't take care of you, nothing else is going to work out. So that's first and foremost, like what do you want? What's exciting? And what can you then direct action towards if you had time to prioritize and do stuff?
I love it.
I know that you're not woo-woo, Melissa, but you do really like the book Soundtracks by John Acuff?
Yeah.
Okay. And he has a whole section in there about where he had people say an affirmation for 30 days. And he tested it with 5,000 people. And he had 10 things that they had to read aloud every day in the morning and every day at night. And then he would come back after 30 days and check with these people. How many days did you actually do it? And the people who had 5 days, like had what happened in your life, what changed? And they were able to articulate that. And then the people 10 days, 20 days, 30 days. And they had these bigger, the more that they did it, the more this life-changing stuff happened. And I'm a big fan of taking what other people have done and had success with and being like, oh, let's give that a try. And I remember doing that for 30 days, and in those 30 days, I quit my full-time job, started Clear Spaces full-time, got on the radio that same week to be like, "Oh, yeah, I just quit my day job, and I'm doing this now." Paul Douglas told me he was proud of me. It was just, like, this incredible array of things happened, and more that I don't even recall at the moment, but these were all, like, work and organizing related, and I know there's also, like, some science behind what you were saying too about writing it down. You're 75% more likely to achieve your goals if you write them down. So you've got that on your side. But then also, Corey, what you were saying about speaking it out into existence, there's energy in our words and in our environment, and energy can never be created or destroyed, right? So it goes somewhere. So you might as
Yeah.
well use it. Like, it doesn't hurt. So
No, it just
I'm going to just admit that I have an affirmation that I have said to myself for the last 2 years, and it's from people that I admire, but I literally write it out. So I do my little manifestation, I do my journal, and then I write out my affirmation, and I truly think that it makes a big difference. Do you want to know what it is?
I do. I
of
really
course,
do.
if you want to share.
Okay. The first part is from the New Heights podcast. Do not judge, okay?
I don't judge.
It is, I am fucking electric. And then the next sentence is, I light my fire each day. And what that means is I'm going to do whatever I need to do to light my fire. Rest, recover, work out, take care of myself. And then the last part is, I win the fucking day.
I love that.
So then I go out there and I win the day, because I'm telling you, if you win every day, things change. Like, even if it's the smallest win, it's different for everyone. So I write those 3 sentences every day. I'm not even kidding you.
I love that.
It's
I
solid.
absolutely love that.
I know it sounds like conceited and whatever, but it just reminds me, like, this is what I have to do.
Yeah.
But I think the world will knock you down enough that if you are your biggest cheerleader, I think that's a really helpful thing.
Because
Yeah,
I
'cause
think
in
we
the end,
spend
it's
so much
like-
time being our own worst enemy.
Right.
Like, why would we not? I think women especially we find all the faults. Like, I need to be doing this. I don't look like this. I should look like this. I should be doing this.
Right.
Like, instead of beating ourselves up, like, why would we not hype ourselves the hell up? Why are we
Right.
not doing that? I think it's great.
I do too. And I would like you to put it in our text thread, please,
Okay, no problem.
so
I
that we can
will.
all use it.
That would be, if we change our entire group name, that would be very long, but we can make it happen.
Yeah.
But no, I really do think that, like, Missy, I love what you say about the energy part, because it is, you are putting energy, and this is not about, it's not even woo, it's literally just, you are saying it, which means your brain is absorbing it. When you say it out loud, it's different than if you just read it. Saying
Right.
it out loud, there is an action that comes with that then flips something in your brain. It's the same thing that we know, like, clients will say, "Oh, I don't mind clutter." And you're like, "Yeah, you do, because you have the following 25 things that are wrong right now." And, like, the clutter, you don't think the clutter's bothering you, but it is bothering you.
But
So
also getting it out of your head, because there's also mental clutter. So as an entrepreneur, you guys are thinking about 10,000 other things at the same time. There's so much floating around in there, and a lot of it's brilliant, right? I think Cabri talked about that. She's like, at any standing point in time, there's about 1,000,000 thoughts running through my head as an entrepreneur. And it's, if you can just gargle some of those and spit them out on a paper or on your phone, or get it out of there, and helps
into-
clarity.
into ChatGPT, where then it can draw you a plan on how you
Correct.
can go do all those things. There are 1,000 ways to do it. And the other thing too is, I think that there is, I can't quote it, but I think there's science behind physically writing something versus typing it.
There is.
Yeah.
You're right about that.
Yeah.
That's the
I'm a huge
75%
fan
number. Yeah.
of writing.
Yeah. So, like, physically writing it, because then that gets it out in a different way. Like, your brain just interprets it differently. So that's another really helpful thing, to actually physically journal. Kielyn, what excites you? Going back to Corey's question.
I like the challenge, that every challenge is different. So every new project feels, there's different stuff, different people, different goals, and knowing that we're going to go in and we're going to make it better. And I also really, the mental aspect of it, working with our clients. I was with a lady yesterday, and she was like, I just trust what you're saying more about my house than my own, what I think. And I'm like, interesting. Let's look at that.
Interesting.
Let's talk about what that's like. Why do you trust my brain over it? You have a really good thing going on. And so then we got into this whole conversation about internal thoughts and how you see yourself. And I just see myself as a really cluttered, messy person. And when I tell you this woman was not cluttered and messy by any stretch of
Mhm.
the imagination, okay, there's some stuff to look at in there. So
There's a lot to
kind of
dig out
interesting.
there.
Yeah, it was great. So I like the little therapy aspect of it. We're coaching people through moving from one thing to the next and building good habits. And that's rewarding to me.
I do think that's another thing that the 4 of us do very much have in common, and I know not everybody loves this, and it's totally
Mhm.
fine, but I love digging down. I love
Totally.
digging the psychological archaeology of why our client like, why is a
Mhm.
person who is objectively not messy saying, "I feel messy, I think I'm messy," or like that to me,
Mhm.
give me that all day long. I
Yeah,
wanna
it's
dig into that.
fascinating.
Yeah,
Yep.
I love it. Missy, what excites you?
On a similar vein of Keelan, honestly, I love getting to know people and figure out like how they got to that place. There's always a reason why the house
Mhm.
has been put on the back burner for some time. And usually makes all the sense in the world once they explain what's been happening in their life or changes that have happened or grief, a loss of a loved one, or even we focus a lot on clients with ADHD. And so just helping understand how their brain works and then what they actually need in their home, what will work for their brain and for how they use their space. And there's a lot of fun for me that comes from helping like co-create that with them and
Mhm.
identifying what kind of system do you need? Not what have you
Mhm.
seen, like best practices for organizing, don't put it down, don't put it away. That doesn't work for you. So what's your normal routine like when you come into the house? Do you drop your coat? Where do you drop your coat? Let's look at that. Do we need a coat
Mhm.
hook right here? It like the nitty-gritty, if they're willing to let us in that far, is so fun for me because I'm like, we can really improve your life in a bunch of different ways if we can learn as much as you're willing to tell us about your life.
One thing too, Missy and I were talking about this the other day too, since from a team perspective, because now like Missy loves doing that and planning that. So she's still doing consultations, right? She's going in there and she's learning about the client. She's learning as much as she can about the client. What do they need? How do they feel? Everything that she's talking about, right? She's going into the consultation, she's digging, figuring out what might work for this person, putting together a plan or a proposal for them. And then the beauty of the team is the team goes in and just kicks ass, follows the plan. Missy's done this dig. She's got the details, she's got everything. And then the team it's beautiful, you guys, if you can make it work.
Yeah.
And being a team leader is so vastly different. I think about this a lot, like being a leader versus a doer. And they're very different things. And a lot of us start an organizing business because we're like, oh, I'm a great organizer. I can do this. And then things start to grow. And then you start to realize that you need help. And then you go, oh, but I'm still doing all the things. And that's something common that we run into all the time is people have huge teams, but they're still out on the jobs. They're still organizing closets and making labels, and they're also scheduling consults, and they're doing consults, and they're scheduling a team, and they're paying payroll and all the things. And that's a very different thing to be. But
Right.
letting your team go, I think you guys are all really good at that. It's saying, I trust you. You can go out and do this.
And you can't do all of the things. So at some point, like if organizing truly does excite you, then somebody else should probably be doing your billing, your consultations,
Yeah.
whatever, and then you go on site. But if that's what excites you, then
Yeah.
stick to that. But you
Yeah.
cannot do all the things and sustain the business. I'm just going to throw that out there. You guys might think differently, but I truly don't think you can do all the pieces well by yourself.
You
No,
can't.
I can't.
But
No.
even as a sole organizer, you have to pull out time for yourself. Like, when am I going to do billing? Does it work? I don't want to like miss seeing my kids or miss my weekends because I have to do billing and SEO and all of these things. You have to build it into your schedule because otherwise you'll drive yourself crazy.
There was someone the other day in our group who was saying, I can't do Google Business because I'm not good at Canva. And so I'm like, okay, is someone on your team good at Canva? You
No.
don't have to do it. You as the owner don't have to granularly go in and update a Google Business profile. You can if you want to. But find someone, especially that's the joy I think of having teams. And I know all of you guys have ended up in this point with your people too of what can they do I
Yes.
know
Mhm.
all three of you have had times where you're like, wait, I need Julie to do blah, 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 because I'm either not good at it or she'll be great at it or she wants growth or whatever. And letting go of that control is really
Mhm.
important.
Yeah, or
Hard to
even if
do.
you're alone, having a virtual assistant or
Yeah.
something, like, something to offload.
Social media was the very first thing to go for me because I absolutely despise it. And I briefly took it back thinking, oh, I can handle it and I'll just save that money. And after I had spent 6 hours on Canva, I was like, yeah, I don't want to do
I don't
this
want that.
anymore. And that was the end of that. So I will never
Well,
take it back
and
ever.
my suggestion to you would have just been just quit social media.
I know I do enough to be like legitimate, and that is all. I just hate it so much.
The whole reason that we start, like the reason that we ended up here today, as improbably as we were able to get it scheduled, is a conversation that we were having that sparked this. Was we were talking about the concept of just trusting your own voice, I think is the easiest way
Mhm.
to say it. And one of the things we have a lot of people in our inspired organizer group, and we all run our businesses differently. We all have different situations that we're going to and coming from. But one thing I do see a lot of common threads. And one I see with a lot of organizers, and these are people I talk to at How To Summit, people that are an inspired organizer all over, is I think there are times that we feel like I have this idea or I have something that's going on and I need other people to tell me it's okay instead of trusting your own gut about your own business. Missy, because I think you guys all do this, but I feel like you have some special talents of I'm just going to go do it.
I have a lack of fear, which I think is a big part of it. And so I am willing to just try anything once and see what happens. And sometimes you try it once and it's a total fail, and you're like, cool, that's too far. Good to know. You dial it back. And I've expressed that to my team as well. Like, we use the analogy all the time, which probably doesn't sound super professional, but they're all really cool, so they just go with it. But I'm like, we are building a plane while flying, and so things are going to be changing, and I want your input. Like, you are my front line with the clients and with other team members. I'm like, so if you have a good idea about how we should do something, I would love to hear it. And so because of that, one of the team leads invited me to coffee and sat me down with 2 pages handwritten of how she thought that I could earn more income in the business and what I should be doing, and I was like, "This is amazing."
Ah,
We have and Corey and I were talking about this, how we hire people and add people to the team that are better than us, that are smarter than us, that know how to do things in a way that we can stand back and go, "Oh, wow. That's amazing. I wouldn't have thought of that, and I love how you did that," or, "I love how you handled that conversation," and then we have team time meetings, and we'll set aside different people to lead different parts to be like, "You have done managing client expectations really well. Can you talk about how you do that?" Or, "You're really good at figuring this part out. Can you walk us through a scenario so that we can all keep learning from each other?" And then I think maybe by accident, but I'm modeling that too as I'm like, "We're gonna try this." And then I'm like, "Okay, that didn't work. Let's try that." And then we're like, "Oh, that worked really well. Let's keep doing more of that."
the fact that you're willing to listen, because I will tell you, I sometimes have a personal, and this is, by the way, everything I'm about to say about myself, I should really be working on with a therapist, but I should really see a professional about this. I sometimes feel this, especially just as an entrepreneur. I feel like if someone comes to me with an idea, I'm like, I should have thought of that. Why didn't I think of that?
Mm.
And why is someone else coming to me and telling me something that I'm like, "Oh, wait, I should have thought about that. I should have done that." And so I would much rather have your mindset about that. What a great idea. Thank you for bringing that to me rather than beating myself up that I didn't come up with it myself. And then I feel like, oh, then I start to go down this rabbit hole. Oh, well, I should have thought about that. What are the other 200 things I'm not thinking about? Appreciate that you're saying that you take that, because I think there are people who are probably like me and like, why is my team member telling me how I can make more money? That's none of her
Mm.
business. So I applaud you for that.
Thank you. Yeah, it didn't occur to me to receive it any other way.
Yeah,
But,
I
like,
know. That's why you're a
what
better person
one
than I am.
so no, but, like, I just see it as one less thing to think about. You have laid out a perfect plan, and to be honest, we it took a while, but we've implemented it, and it is working. Like, it was
Yeah.
great.
Okay, that's a little sneak peek preview of some of the great stuff that is coming up with the rest of my conversation with my friends, Missi, Cori, and Kielyn. And I just wanted to end on that note because I think that really that concept of letting go of control and letting your team take things, or if you're a solo organizer like me, letting other people come in and help you, I just thought that was a kind of a great way to end it. And I will be back with more content in the next few days. So stay tuned, organizers. Have a great day.